Hello, and welcome to the first lecture on this new section on protecting human judgment in high stakes domains. In this course, AI for managers and leaders. So, in this lecture, we will talk about how to reserve final call for humans in decision involving people, reputation, and long term trust. So, how to do that? So, how do you think you can do that? How can you reserve final calls for humans in decisions involving people, reputations, and long term trust? Any thoughts? To reserve the final calls for humans in decisions involving people, reputation, and long term trust, you as an organization must hardwire this into, decision rights, governance, and leadership behavior. And you should not only depend on goodwill or caution. So it must be hardwired into these things. And how to hard do this hardwiring? Let's take a look at a system that you can actually run. So start by explicitly classifying the human reserved decision. Start by naming the decisions AI can never finalize. Create a human judgment required category, HJR category, and that include any decision that affects people in terms of hiring, firing, promotion, performance, pay, discipline, reputation of the brand in terms of brand trust, public statements, customer harm, also long-term trust in terms of ethics, fairness, safety, irreversible impact of the decision. And these decisions are AI state, not AI decided by policy. You said that very clearly. If it is not written, it will be violated. So classify these human reserve decisions, right? HJR category, create that. Then design a clear decision boundary. Leaders must exactly know where AI stops and where they start. So a simple rule that for example, could be, AI role could be to analyze, predict, surface options, and highlight risk, whereas human role could be to weigh values, context, consequences, and trade-offs. And you need to teach leaders to ask what can be optimized versus what must be judged. And if it is optimization, then AI is the right place to leave that to. And if it is judgment, you must go to humans. Humans must decide. So clarify the decision boundary like this, right? Then what you need to do is to mandate human sign off for high impact decisions. Make accountability unmistakable. There should be a mistake about who's responsible for what. And for that, what you need to do is to practice that every HJR decision must have a named human owner. We talked about this earlier also. And this owner must, review AI inputs, challenge assumptions, and approve or override the recommendation that AI is making. And also sign off, which is recorded in terms of decision memos, system logs, or governance review. Now, this system of mandating will then prevent the system decided syndrome. Those excuses, oh, system decided, not me. So, mandate human sign off for high impact decisions like this. Then, what you need to do is to require a judgment rationale, not just an outcome. AI can explain the logic, but humans must explain the judgment. The human rationale must answer a few questions like why this decision is fair, who is impacted and how, what values are considered or were considered, what long term risks exist, and why AI was followed or overridden. So, such rationales must be explained of the judgment. If leaders cannot articulate this, they should decide, right? So, require the judgment rationale. Then insert human checkpoints at the moments of ambiguity, right? Not all decision needs review, but uncertainty, wherever it's in high level, must always. So you need to trigger human review when AI confidence is low or unstated. The downside risk is asymmetric. There is higher risk of failure versus lower risk of not failing, and a data is incomplete or biased. And the downside risk is asymmetric, as we were saying, and the case is novel or unprecedented. And a person's dignity or livelihood is affected. So, in these situations of ambiguities, insert human checkpoints. If and please note and remember and communicate to the team that ambiguity is not a flaw. It's going to happen with more and more with AI coming through. It's a signal for leadership to start acting. Then design escalation paths, you know, based on risk, not rank. Don't rely on hierarchy alone. Use risk. And your logic of escalation could be if it is low impact plus reversible, then managers must sign off. If it is high impact and people and trust is involved, then senior leaders or committee should look at it. And if it's ethical or reputational risk, then there should be an independent review. Now, doing such escalation will ensure that the right humans decide, and it is not the just the closest one, closest to you, available, accessible, but the right people who decide at the points that is required. Then prohibit fully automated decision in trust sensitive areas and make this not negotiable. Set up a very clear policy and enforce it, saying no AI system may autonomously execute decisions that materially affect individuals, organization reputation, or long-term stakeholder trust. And this will draw a bright line on where humans should act and where AI is allowed to continue. So prohibit such fully automated decisions. Train leaders to override AI without fear. Humans' final authority will fail if leaders are afraid to use it. So there are cultural reinforcements that you need to do. That is like celebrating thoughtful overrides, sharing stories of AI being wrong in a way, sensitive way, not punishing leaders for slowing down high risk decisions, and rewarding principled dissent. And if you do that, the trust is built through this restraint, not through speed. So train leaders to ride AI without fear. Also, audit decisions for judgment quality, whether they are good judgments or not speed. Shift what good leadership means. And you can do that by asking few questions. Was AI appropriately challenged? Right? Were human values explicitly considered? Was there a long term trust that was prioritized? Would this decision withstand public scrutiny? Would I be able to go to 250 people in a public meeting and talk about it? And asking these questions and getting the right answers will reinforce responsibility over efficiency only. Publish a simple leadership rule everyone must know. Make it memorable by saying when people reputation or trust are at stake, humans decide AI advisor. So make it simple. And then repeat it, enforce it, and measure it. So what's the final insight we can draw from this lecture? The moment you make AI make the final calls on human trust, you outsource leadership itself. Great organizations don't use AI to replace judgment. They use it to make human judgment better, slower when needed, and fully accountable. Right. So that's the final insight we have for you in this lecture. So what do we do next now? So in the next one, we will take a look at the second part of, how to use AI as a second opinion to protect human judgment in high stake domains. So thank you so much for watching this lecture on protecting human judgment in high stakes domain. I hope you're continuing to learn new things, continuing to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and do download the PDF file to take a look at anything that you need to.